Former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Monday advised that Nigeria should approach the government of Zimbabwe for a solution to the current all-time high inflation in the country. He noted that since Zimbabwe was recently confronted with the same problem and came out of it, the Southern African country would have useful advice for Nigeria. In its latest release, the National Bureau of Statistics puts Nigeria's inflation at 29.9%. The country is currently grappling with high costs of living, with pockets of protests breaking out across the country as Nigerians contend with increasing prices of foodstuffs. Obasanjo, speaking on Monday at a youth leadership symposium as part of activities lined up for his 87th birthday, said Nigeria had Zimbabwe to learn from. The symposium, with the theme Opportunities for Peace, Roles of the Youth in Conflict Prevention in Africa, held at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Abeokuta. It was put together by the Center for Human Security and Dialogue in collaboration with the Institute for African Culture and International Understanding, Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library. The ex-president said the times of challenges were not to give up, but to face the problem head-on and draw lessons from those who encountered similar problems in the past and overcame. He said, when the time is rough and tough, the tough must get going. No problems is new and no problem will be permanent. Committing whatever is not the end of any problem. Confront it and take it to God, because he could do anything. When you have a problem, look at those who have had this problem before and how they overcame it. We have the problem of galloping inflation in the country now, but do we have a country with such problems recently? Yes, we do. Zimbabwe had this problem recently. Shouldn't we ask them how they did it, even if our approach will be different, even if whatever we shall be doing will be different, but we can ask questions to navigate our way out. Obasanjo also posited that dialogue, not guns or any form of violence, would help resolve the various conflicts on the African continent. He said that like never before, conscious effort to build and inculcate a culture of peace and security in the youth must be intensified to spur them to be at the vanguard of promoting peace rather than being used to perpetuate violence on the continent. He said we must begin to bring up our youth in the culture of peace and security. The chances are where we have a culture of love, we will have peace. Hey, now, Baba person, now they talk this kind of thing. Okay, they are, as I mentioned, kindness, mercy, and forgiveness. All of these attributes are professed by God and is shared same with us to make life pleasant for us. But when we build negative attitudes, pull him down, then there will be a problem. He referenced biblical character Esther, who was able to secure a race from being exterminated, and Joseph, who helped to fight famine. The youth must be at the vanguard of pursuing peace. They must be able to persuade those who believe that gun and violence is the way out of conflict to have a rethink. The way out is conversation and dialogue. We have had our issues here during the Civil War. We killed ourselves mercilessly and destroyed our best facilities, but we still came back to the round table to get the challenge resolved. Okay, youth must develop the culture of peace, the culture of humaneness, the culture of living the way God wants us to live, Obasanjo added. The coordinator of the program and former executive secretary of the National University Commission, Professor Peter Bukola, said the essence of the symposium was to further drive home Obasanjo's commitments to the African youth. Bukola, who is the director of the Institute for African Culture and International Understanding, Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, said The event is a testament to the belief that it is not enough to grant young people a seat at the table. Their involvement must be vital and meaningful. Through targeted interventions, inclusive policies, and international collaboration, we aim to empower West African youth as catalysts for positive change, paving the way for a more peaceful and harmonious society. Okay. If I were the president, my first action will express or manifest a radical change. How? Because I will apply our pristine values meaningless. If you know nothing about our pristine values, it will be meaningless to you. But if you know about them, it will be very meaningful to you. The abandonment of our pristine value is why we have progressed from fair just after independence to bad, was tending to collapse. Only two clues. What effect had uh, FW reports, WB reports of 1953? Why IMF Dominion? Mugabe of Zimbabwe is very similar to Tinubu of Nigeria. Both are very old. Both are brainless. Why Mugabe only knows reduce, Tinubu knows how to destroy. Why Mugabe was busy printing the local currency that can buy nothing. Tinubu is busy making naira worthless locally and internationally. But after Mugabe died, the economy of Zimbabwe has picked up. Wow, we are waiting for the who now. Wow. Okay, what can anybody learn from Zimbabwe of all places where a bag of money is used to buy a bottle of Coke? The problem this country have is from the federal government. Check out the target that the former president give to former customs controller general Mr. Ali to cancel waiver for raw materials such as baking powder and chemical that manufacturer use for production and customs collected taxes for free, but free duty items. Why Nigeria government should go and learn from Zimbabwe for what? Is it Zimbabwe that would advise government not to tax machinery and manufacturing items in the port? Check out who is Obasanjo to be advising President Tinubu on the acts of governance and economic recovery. Obasanjo is a blue sheep whose thirst for greed and corruption is second to none. Hey, see this one. I'm sure maybe you are trying to talk about Tinubu, Obasanjo, someone that stole 16 billion electricity money has spoken. Someone that colonized Lagos State too is on board. The aforementioned attribute was that the missionaries were inculcating to early beneficiaries of Western education, which enabled them to wisely start the process of self-determination peacefully to attain independence from the colonial masters. Which old man? What do you expect before from a president that told you it was his turn and Yoruba turn? All the financial sectors was occupied by them only, until we have a president that comes to work and change things, not the one that came to divide us. So guys, let's know what you think.